very closely to the sources. So, so I don't have much of a problem with Jesus. I don't, really. So he kicked over the money changers' tables, and soon after that he got in trouble. And we know that the Last Supper was a Pesach Seder. You can see that from the famous painting, the Last Supper. And so you can draw a connection then between the kicking over of the money changers' tables. The Jews get mad at him. He goes into hiding. The Romans get his hands on him and crucify him, right? And then so the Jews are being held responsible for this ever since, and it's been a very interesting Shabbat. But the point is that Jesus clearly wasn't the Mashiach, because my understanding is that Mashiach will build the third temple and reinstate the avoda, and so Kapara will come to the world through Hashem's Beit HaMikdash. And so clearly that didn't happen. Someday it will happen because Jews believe in the Mashiach, and so may he come speedily in our day. But what's going to happen then is when Mashiach comes and reinstates the avoda, then basically the Christians are going to be held, accountable to the mitzvot again, because it'll be turned out that Jesus was a loophole, that it wasn't really true. And so the Chiyuv falls back on the Jews. There's no getting out of it just because you believe in Jesus. And the Beis HaMikdash will make that quite apparent. So we'll finish off here with something from the Rebbe, because it looks like my recorder's telling me that I'm out of time. But the problem with Jesus was one of context. That if you don't understand the world of the Orthodox Jews, then you certainly can't understand Jesus. That he was a yeshiva bacher, and the story I heard from the rabbi was that he tried to speak to the rabbi didn't talk to him, and he left. Well, that's happened to me plenty of times, and so and I can totally understand. And what Jesus did after he left, well, he went to go help people. He took what he learned in yeshiva and he went to the people who needed help and he helped them. And I can totally understand that too. And so the Rebbe says here, when he's speaking about the origin of Avodah Zarah, and the cult of Jesus is idol worship. But when people worship something like a man as an idol, then they misunderstand the purpose of that man's life. That instead of thinking that he was an axe in the hands of the hewer, right? That's what the Rebbe says here. An axe in the hands of the hewer, right? And now, obviously, he's not talking about Jesus, but he was talking about somebody. And but everybody who wants to make a god out of Jesus misunderstands that he was just an axe in the hand of the hewer, and that the highest service of a person in the service of Hashem is a passive action, meaning that a person doesn't see their spiritual growth. They don't see any of the actions of their hands as a result of their own power and their own strength, but that everything is for the sake of Hashem, right? This is the path of the Chassid, that everything he does with his hands isn't done for the sake of his own pleasure, but it was only done to satisfy his Creator. And this was very much the message of Jesus. Love your brother. And all of this was straight from the sources. So Jesus spoke Pirkei Avot, the feeding of the 5,000, the Sermon on the Mount. These could have been very much a drasha that came from the Rosh Yeshiva. Such a misunderstanding, right? And it's a false separation. But such is life. Mashiach will clear that all up. So I guess that's enough for now. So we'll leave it on a note of Mashiach then, right? May he come speedily in our day, and we'll all enjoy the spirituality that comes from a closeness to Hashem, and we'll have everything taken care of by the Kapara, and we can truly act as God's chosen people, and all will be good. Okay? So Shabbat Shalom. We'll do this again next week.